Schurler Sundays is returning to downtown Olympia for summer 2024. That means 10 weeks in a row of free outdoor concerts and live interview tapings for future broadcast. So come see your next favorite artist and get to know them in one fell swoop, week after week. This year's lineup includes Little Wings, Mira, Tender Forever, Lois, Damian Gerardo, Michael Hurley, Chris Cohen, O Rose, Johnny Cosmo, and more than 20 others, all curated and hosted by yours truly. It's happening every Sunday at 3 p.m. from July 21st through September 22nd, 2024. Find more info at SchurlerBeer.com. Today's show's coming out a little behind schedule because I've been hustling like a madman. You see, I've got a wife and 4 kids, 4 really cool jobs, and not a lot of hours to commit to an unpaid passion project. If you're a fan of this show, please consider taking a moment to support the show by committing to a flexible monthly donation at patreon.com/lowprofile. It's literally the only way I get paid for doing this program. Each episode takes at least 24 hours of cumulative work, including scheduling, interviewing, editing, and intensive research. You'll never hear anybody give an interview on my show that includes canned responses to predictable questions, and hopefully that's part of why you keep coming back. It would mean the world to me if I could set aside a proper work week at a living wage every month, and I believe with enough of the regular listeners chipping in like $5, that could happen. So thanks a lot to those of you who have continued to support me on Patreon. And if you haven't yet, give it a try. It'll be great for your karma, I bet. Again, that's patreon.com/lowprofile. From Ruinous Media and KAOS 89.3 FM in Olympia, I'm Mark Lee Morrison, and this is the 83rd feature episode of Low Profile. Bonjo Iyabingi Noah is the percussionist and vocalist behind African Head Charge, the experimental dub project he co-founded with legendary producer Adrian Sherwood in the late 1970s. With dozens of albums to his credit, he's been established as an influential and singular performer with a sound all his own. Today, I'm speaking with Bonjo about how he found his musical and spiritual calling in the Poco churches of Jamaica in his youth, how an encounter with Fela Kuti changed the course of his life, his collaborations with classic reggae and soul artists like Desmond Decker, Prince Farai, Creation Rebel, and The Foundations, how he turned an experimental studio project into a large live ensemble, and insights into African Head Charge's latest album, A Trip to Bolgatanga, on Adrian Sherwood's U Sound label. Here's Bonjo speaking to me from his home in Ghana.
My musical background really started from Jamaica, in Jamaica, my grandmother, her name is Nana Bunchi. She had a Rasta camp where Rastas used to come from all over to come there and drumming and chanting and reasoning and whatever. It was like one big family, So that was my grandmother's sister, my grandaunt. And I used to like going there, and the elders teach me how to play the Nyabingi drums and the poker drum and all that kind of thing. So I was a part of the youth drumming in the camp. That time I was about 7 years old, 8 years old. Yes. I think really what they were really, apart from everything, they were teaching me how to be disciplined as a drummer, as a conga player. Because with Nyabingi music, you have to be very disciplined, and I think they saw that I had it in me. Because even now when I'm playing drums, I still play with that discipline.
There aren't a whole lot of bands where the lead instrument is the percussionist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You wound up gigging with some artists that you looked up to.
What happened really, I used to play the drums in the Poco Church, which is a spiritual church that the Africans brought to Jamaica, the way, and then the Nyabingi Church. But I never knew that I would become professional at doing it. As when I came to London, and I started to move with some other musicians. I went and lived in this place, and there's a singer upstairs, and there's a drummer downstairs. And whenever they're doing a gig, because I didn't have to pay to get in, I used to follow them around, and I become like a roadie with them, you know, especially with the drummer downstairs.
How old are you at this time?
Yeah, I think it was about 2021. That's when I started moving with these bands. And one day, I went down to the rehearsal about 2-3 hours early than normal time, just to smoke. As in them days, I used to love smoking good weed, and so I used to go somewhere where we're not disturbing anyone, and then we sit and meditate on this. So I saw this drum in the rehearsal place, and I just something to do. I just went on the drum and I started playing it. You know, and then the drummer started to give a little tickle on his drums. And then later, when the rest of music bands came, everybody was shocked. And I was saying to them, yeah, man, I used to play this thing when I was 7 years old in my grandmother's church. And I used to play in the pocket church. And I was playing all those kind of rhythm that I was playing when I was that age. You know, even the Indians have a certain kind of drumming that they play, the Indians in Jamaica. You know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I used to move. Yeah, I used to move with them as well. In fact, one of my best friends was a guy called Sonny, you know, and the family used to love me. I used to go there. In fact, I was like an Indian myself, you know. I used to eat their food, and I enjoyed being with them, you know. And I learned some of their kind of drumming as well. And I started to play. And all that I learned from I was that age up to, you know, it was coming out of me. So everybody was excited about it, and then I think my name started to go all over the place, you know, till people like Desmond Dekker, when he came here and he wanted me to work with him, and he used to encourage me to sing because a lot of people didn't like my voice, especially when I went with Creation Rebel and all that. But Desmond Dekker always said, "Sing, Bonzo." So that every mouth can be fed. Me Israelites, get up in the morning, slaving for bread, so that every mouth can be. So I used to sing the deep part. Oh, the Israelites. So I went on tour with him a lot, and I really did love that man. You know, he was like a big brother to me. You know, he was always telling me about drinking. Tell me not to drink too much, because drinking is what he had a problem with that, you know. And he told me don't drink too much and don't do anything too much. he really took me on like a big brother, you know, Desmond Dekker, right?
Yeah, teaching you about moderation and whatnot.
Yeah, he was teaching me about moderation, yes. And then I started working with other people like Dillinger, and Prince Farai.
Wow.
Prince Farai. And there's a band called The Foundations. They had a couple of hit songs in London. Why did you build me up, buttercup, baby?
Of course, yeah.
And that kind of thing. So I think everybody was hearing about me. I wanted me to come and play with it, and I got excited. You know, I'm a young person, and I find out these people want me to work. So I was excited. I had a young family as well. I didn't know that I could make a career out of it. I didn't know that. I just went in there because I loved the music that the other band was playing, and I'm just going around with them.
Man, Desmond Dekker, I did not know that you collaborated with him. He was like a national hero. Still is, I reckon.
Yeah. He liked me a lot, you know. I'm living in this council flat, and Desmond Dekker sent a driver, like, you know, some big, like one of those big cars with big superstars sitting.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sitting, this man, he sent one of those cars with a driver come to my house, you know what I mean? Everybody was looking out to see me doing this because I'm just a simple person in the area. I want people to see me sitting in this. It's Desmond Dekker. He took me really in. He liked me then. Let me put it that way. And I really, all my life, I will never forget him because he was always encouraging me to sing. Because a lot of people didn't like my voice in them time. You know, and he was always saying, "Hey, Bonzo, sing, man. You want me to sing?" And so I was singing some harmonies for him, you know. When I realized that people liking my drumming, I started to take it serious. You know, so I formed a band and I call it Fusion. I think through Fusion, people start to even get to recognize me as well, you know. And then later, this guy, what's his name? I got cocaine running around my brain. Dillinger had a hit song called "Cocaine Running Around His Brain," and
I remember Dillinger.
Well. Yes, his manager sent for me, and at that time they stole my drums. I didn't have any drums, you know what I mean? And I went down and I explained to them that this I don't have it. So the manager, I think the manager was a rich person. He showed me a shop where lots of percussion in there, and he left me in there. And I'm in there, I see all these percussion, some of them I've never seen before, you know. And I think I learned quickly, you know, when it comes to percussion. So everything that they show me, I said, oh, you do? He said, yeah. So I end up spending a lot of money on buying all the best percussion and all the kind of thing. And I wasn't even thinking that they're going to take the money out of my tour money, you know. So went and did the tour and came back and they showed me, so, okay, this is what your pay is, but we're taking this out for all the percussion. I wasn't even thinking like that. But anyway, I was happy to get all those percussion because that percussion helps me because that's when I went and joined Creation Rebel. And I think that's where the whole thing started for me, really.
How long were you with Creation Rebel?
I think I was with them for about maybe 2 or 3 years. About 3 years. Because I become a part of the backing band to back Prince Farai.
Mm.
Yeah, we were the backing band for Prince Farai. So I was there for about 3 years. That's where I met Adrian.
Adrian Sherwood, who's your long-standing collaborator.
Yes, Adrian, Prince Farai, Creation Rebel. A lot of us was, working together. But at the same time, after a while, I always felt like I want to do something different,
Yeah.
Because I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it because I'm going places and I'm looking after my family, and I was enjoying, but I wanted to do something different. So when me and Adrian come together, and I took him, we went to the studio, and just me and Adrian alone in the studio. And book the studio in the night where it's cheap. It don't cost much money like in the daytime. So we book it all night. That's why the first album is called My Life in the Hole in the Ground. Because the studio was underground. Anything come to my hands, I would just play it. And then I would double track on it, and I would double track. It would sound as if it's all eight different percussionists playing, but it's just me alone, double tracking. And that's how I started. African Exile started in the studio, really, by me recording all these sounds and these rhythms and all that kind of thing. And Adrian, they're recording it. So as soon as I finish one thing, I move on to another thing, and then keep going, And that's how it goes. I had a lot of percussion.
I'm imagining Adrian following you around with a microphone, and you're just wandering around the studio.
No, not really. He's staying there, and whenever I finish one thing, Yeah, whenever I finish one thing, then I pick up another thing and go on same way, you know?
Yeah.
Carry on.
How did you prepare for that session, though? Like, what was your game plan? Like,
Well, there was no game plan. That is the truth. Is the truth. I just know that I'm going to go in there and set something, set a foundation, right? A timing, like a heartbeat, and then build on top of that. That's how I work all the time. Always set a foundation. It's like, I'm thinking if you're building a house, you must have a foundation. Then you can put the roof in and you put the door in and put the windows in and put the other thing. For me, always I'll set a foundation. And then build on it. So that's what I was doing.
at what point did you want to make the shift to a live stage act for African Head Charge?
It was later. I think it was quite later. I think after I did about 3 albums. You know what I mean? Because at that time, I was just getting involved and creating something. I wasn't even thinking about doing live things yet, seriously, because at that time, I was doing workshops as a job. You know, when I say workshop, I used to go into schools, even hospitals, and people with learning difficulties, people with physical difficulties, and bring the percussion in there. Because as I said, I had a lot of percussion. And if there's 20 people in the schools who wants to play, everybody come and hold something. Some will hold tambourine, some will hold that. And that's the kind of work I was doing, you know, and I was enjoying doing that work, you know. So I wasn't really thinking of life so much. Well, my first album, my brother went to Austria. And I'm telling you, when I first started with the live thing, my brother went to Austria and he was sitting in some club or something like that. And the person was playing this album. And he knows the DJs that was there. And there's a small picture of me on the album, a very, very small. And he said, hey, that's my brother. Because he didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, wow.
I didn't tell the family. You know? And he said, that's my brother. And the people said, hey, he's a brother. We like the music that he's doing. So ask him to come. And so they set up a weekend thing for me to go to Austria. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days in a small venue where people were eating and drinking in somebody's backyard. You know, wow. And I brought so many people. Let me tell you, yes. I want some more, over the hills and valley and over yonder. I want some more. It ended up turning up into one of the biggest festivals in Austria, the Vision Festival.
Oh, wow.
I started that as well. I was the first person to start that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in some backyard. And then when I came to London now, people are hearing about the whole thing, and they asked me to do University of London, ULU, University of London. When I do the University of London, I find the clubs were sold out, hundreds of people outside. And I thought, wow, I didn't know all this was happening, you know what I mean? Because I'm making these albums, but I never go out live with it.
Yeah. And so it just took on a life of its own, and then you had to catch up with it.
Yeah, that's it. There were people there who really wanted to come and see what it's all about, right? And I didn't know because I was so happy working in the schools, happening community workshops, working with in hospitals, working on all kind of things, you know. They invited me to work in the hospital because they told me that when I play the drums, some people in a coma, they wake up from the coma. Things like that.
Yeah.
So it makes me want to do it more because, you know, people were loving it and they were telling me what it done to them, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So, as I said, I didn't learn any trade. I didn't learn mechanic or carpentry or nothing. I didn't have any trade. So that becomes it, you know.
Now, artistically speaking, approaching that, like you have a recording project that's been very specific and has developed a fan base. They love those pieces. But when you're coming to do it live, are you still living in that space of improvisation where the songs were, or were really trying to recreate old improvisations, or some balance in between?
Well, like cooking, right? You're cooking, you put a bit of that in there, and then when you get the overall taste of it, it's all these things that you put in, the poco, the nyabingi, the soul, the funk, the jazz, all these kind of things. You put it all together, because that's my idea of doing things, putting things together, putting different things together. The reggae bass line, some of the reggae, all these things, and I was influenced a lot by Africa as well.
Sure.
Because I met Fela. I don't know if you know this guy called Fela Kuti.
Oh, I love Fela Kuti. Yeah, I was hoping, I heard a rumor about this story.
Now, he influenced me a lot as well. Because, I was young and I was very brave. And I saw the advert in the newspaper that there's a band from Africa looking for a Congo player. Yeah. And I went for the audition, and I got the job. The band was called the Funkies. They were supporting Fela Kuti, with Sonny Akpan, a great Congo player who was like my master as well, a teacher. I learned a lot from him. He worked with me on some of the albums. I do you see his name on it, Sonny Akpan, right? I met Chaik and Idem and all that. And I was the only person in the band who wasn't straight from Africa. You know what I mean? Everybody in the band is from Africa, except for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I did, I just went and I listened to what they're doing, and whoever the percussionist, Sonny was the head percussion, wherever he told me to play, I'll play, because somehow I have this thing. Once somebody plays something to me, I play it back straight away. And that's why they like me. They like me, and then you have to have that discipline. So after a while, when I was young, I was speaking with you, I used to like weed a lot. And we used to have this ganja come from Jamaica called Red Beard. People of my age group from Jamaica will know what I'm talking about. Red Beard. It's good, but when you smoke it, it gives you appetite, and it makes you even more creative too. It's the truth. It doesn't make you dull or very laid back at all. It makes you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that focus strain.
Yeah. So one of the on player, and think they were going to where Fela was, and I said, yeah, I would love to come. I would love to meet Fela. I told him that. So I went with him down there to Fela, where Fela was. He's living in Ginger Baker. You know this drummer called Ginger Baker?
Oh, sure.
He was a top drummer in the world.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Ginger Baker had this big, massive mansion, and Fela, his musicians, and all his wife were living in this big, big, massive mansion, So I went down there, and when I went there, I bring my ganja with me, Red Beard. I have about like half ounce of weed, that thing. And I had some, and then I gave somebody, they said, Fela like it. So I gave him to give it to Fela. That time I didn't even see him. The first day I went there, I didn't see him. So I gave it to him. So I went there another time again, and the same thing. I know he likes ganja, so I bring more ganja, right? And then this time, and I was sitting downstairs. There's hundreds of drums downstairs and percussion. I've never seen so many drums in one. Lots of drums, and in that room was clear drums. So I didn't talk much in those days, I didn't talk a lot. I hardly talk. I would sit there and hello, yeah, very well, listen that. But my talking was with the drums. So I pick up on it and I start to play the drums. And when I start to play it, another guy came and sit beside me and he started to play. And then so in the end, we have about 15, 20 people playing drums. And then Fela come down, see him upstairs. He was upstairs and he's walking down the stairs now. And he pointed at me and he called me Bonjo. That was not my name. But after he called me that name and I started to move with Sonny and all the Chaik and all these people who come to live near my area, and we used to go out together, then they start calling me that amongst my people. So everybody started calling me that name. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. Everybody started to call me that name.
Does your family call you Bonjo?
No. After Fela called me Bonjo, then the rest of the band started to call me Bonjo. And then everywhere I go in London with them, they were calling me Bonjo. So all my other friends, them that I knew from long time, they all stopped calling me the other name that was calling me and called me Bonjo. Because before they were calling me Bingy, Bingy.
Mm-hmm. Short for Iabingi.
Yes, yeah. That's the name that was given to me because I used to love to play the Iabingi drums. So everybody started to say Bonjo.
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about your other project in the 80s, Noah House of Dread. Which it's a whole nother animal from what you were doing with African Head Charge.
Went to climb a higher mountain. The wise ones pull up them lamp with hile. The foolish one them never bother. When darkness come and them couldn't see, them start to buck up in a stone and tree. And this and that and that and this and the other. Them couldn't go there any further. And this a murder. And this a murder.
When Prince Farai died in Jamaica, I think it was about 1980 or 81 or something like that, that's when I did my first Noah House of Dread album. I just, because I wanted to chant long time, because I don't really call myself a singer, I don't have this pretty voice like Dennis Brown or all those people, right? So I really wanted to chant. I wanted to bring this thing that I have inside of me, because I used to chant in the Nyabingi church, in the Nyabingi gathering in Jamaica. So the band didn't want to give me a because I remember one time in Creation Rebel, I started to sing a song, and the band was there, and I started to sing something. And the next minute, I hear like it was drum and bass, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I start carrying on. Next minute, it was just play drums. And when I look around, all the musician is gone, except for the drummer. But, my back is to the band and that. So when I look around, everybody put their instrument down and gone. Left with me and it's just me. So I realized these people didn't like my voice. These people didn't like my voice. And I'm always writing things down. I don't know, somehow when ideas come to me, sometimes I put it down, I write it down, Yeah. Otherwise I might forget it. So, and so that's it. So, but I was determined that I want to do it. I've got that kind of spirit as well. If I want to do something, I would do my best to try and do it. I was determined, okay, you people don't want me to sing with you. So I got some musicians together. There's not a lot of rehearsal. I just go inside, book a rehearsal, tell all the musicians and what I wanted. Rehearse it in one evening with about 5-6 hours rehearsal. Mm-hmm. Then the next day, Adrian booked a studio. So Adrian booked the studio, and he booked the studio. And we just laid the whole thing down in the same day. The whole album was done in the same night. And that album become like, I don't know, but people didn't like it. Although it wasn't promoted well and whatever, but people heard it, they love it. We had some good tracks in it.
Working with Adrian Sherwood, he started bringing in sample technology when that first became available. And I really think it was used to great effect on the Songs of Praise record.
Yes, a lot. Yeah. Well, that's what Adrian was good at. I don't know much about those things. I just need to know to go and play the drums, arrange the drums and all that kind of thing and whatever. But with the samplers thing, really, it's Adrian really coming, because he had a lot of samplers, hundreds of thousands. So me and him used to sit down, and then we choose which sampler will go best with which track.
Where did you find those samples from? Just all the devotional songs.
Adrian had a friend, Bobby, I think his name is Bobby Marshall, and Bobby Marshall's mother used to go around Africa and around the place and record some indigenous things and wherever. And so Adrian was close to them. So Adrian had all these things, all those samples,
This is Low Profile with Markley Morrison, the podcast that stays at least 6 feet away from popular music. Today, I'm speaking with Banjo Iabingi Noah, the percussionist and vocalist behind the legendary experimental dub project African Head Charge. In the background, we're hearing a track called Stebony's Theme from the group's 1981 debut, My Life in a Hole in the Ground. Banjo's speaking to me about working with vocal samples curated by producer Adrian Sherwood.
It wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? But sometimes if you're doing something, we have to allow somebody to get his thing in. You know what I mean? So we can work together. Is there? I can't look at it and say, hey, I want to do this, and that's it, and that's it, and that's it, you know?
It kind of pulled from lots of different, like, world religions and, like, tied it all together. So, I mean, spirituality is deep-rooted in all of your work. It seems like, you're not just making, you're not out there making party songs.
No.
It's a different kind of party, I guess.
Our live show is like a big party anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's like seasons. You have autumn, winter, spring, and so on and everything. So you have different times for different feelings and different things. So that's how the whole thing is. It's not all the time you can be partying. You have a time where you have to be meditating. You have a time when you have to be, doing all different kind of things. So that's how the music is. Is
it a very spiritual experience for you?
I tell you something. Drumming is a very, very spiritual thing, right? Because as I said, I remember drumming before, somewhere, me alone, just playing. And they start to, in the evening time, and the evening is coming. And then you just feel as if your ancestors is with you. I feel as if the drumming that I was playing was drawing the ancestors to me, right? I remember one time I got a bit scared. I thought, I stopped playing and walk out. Because I start to feel the audience with the ancestors, And then I talked to somebody about it. Which is a elder, and he said, next time you feel like that, don't leave, just stay there, carry on. It's there. That's what he told me. So ever since that, when I play and I get that vibes, right? Because you don't even know what you're playing, you're just playing. You don't think what you're just playing, So ever since then, I did it. But the first time when I was playing and I got that spiritual experience, I did stop and walk out, and I didn't say anything to anyone. Yes.
I remember, when I was a teenager, I bought myself a djembe, and I could just sit in the dark, and the entire world would go away, and I would come out of there, and it had been half a day, and I'm just there, lost, because it just pulls you in.
Yes. No, I think so. You understand what I've just said then? Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
What about working with Lee Perry? With Scratch.
Yeah, Lee Perry is great. In those days, I didn't have manager, I didn't have anything, but I like putting things together. I like going places and try some things. Like I'll go to a club and say, listen, I want to come and play here, and we'll work out a percentage or whatever. So this man, he wanted me to put a band together to back Lee Perry. So we met, and I tried to shake his hand. And the first thing he says to me, touch not the Lord's anointed.
African Head Charge in the Hackney Empire. Babylon is on fire. Yeah. Japan is an electronic animal. We eat up cannibals. America, kinda greedy as I say. Yeah, African Charge in the Hackney Empire. Babylon on fire. African Head Charge in the Hackney Empire. African head chart in the Hackney Empire. African head chart in the Hackney Empire. Oh Lord, say Babylon.
You know, Lee Perry is
Oh, that's serious.
and I thought, man, I'm gonna be working with this man, and he's talking to me like that. Touch not the Lord anointed, you know.
Oh, wow.
And all I wanted to do is shake his hand and whatever. But then I start to realize what what kind of person this man is. He's different. There's no other person in the whole world from the time till now like Lee Perry. He's a one-off.
It's
That's all
true.
I can say about him, right? So what I decided to do, I decided to organize a show in a place called Hackney Empire, you know. So I put Lee Perry, African Head Charge, and I can't remember what else I put, but Lee Perry and African Head Charge were the two main acts in Hackney Empire, you know.
Yeah.
And we went there, and Lee Perry even said to me, because I think he knows that my show is fiery, so maybe he was tired. He said, Bonjo, I will go on before you. So him and his band went on, and I closed the show. And my son was there too. That's when one of my sons was born. And he said my son influenced him to do certain songs, you know.
Oh, wow.
Then he ended up doing a song called African Head Charge and Lee Perry in a Hackney Empire, Babylon Catch a Fire. That's the song he made after me and him come together to do that show. Then later, he started working with Adrian. Generation X did their show with Billy Idol, and then Lee Perry didn't have a band. We did the show, and he paid us. So that's the first time I met Prince Farai. He came in here to do a big show in the Music Machine in Camden. Thousands of people were there. He's the big star. He don't have a band. We came upstairs, sitting in the dressing room, relaxing, and he came in, want us to work with him, you know. And we did it, and the people love it. Because, you know, with Lee Perry, it's strictly drum and bass and dub. And I'm telling you, that was before I joined Creation Rebel. And that was even before I started working with Desmond Decker. And before, you know, so those were the early times.
There is a new single that's collaboration with Lee Perry and Sherwood that just came out recently.
Rainforest or something like that. Rainforest. Adrian got close to Lee Perry and very close and whatever.
You mentioned playing with Generation X. Were you pretty close-knit with the punk movement as well?
Yeah, well, at that time, the punk and the reggae were moving together. You know what I mean? I'm talking about 50 years ago, you know. Because I think what happened, the punk, they were really protesting. You know what I mean? And they find us as Jamaican, as black musicians as well, that we've been through a lot of things through the system. Like, the system wasn't fair to us in any way, neither. So I think because of that, we have something in common, the punk and the reggae. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
something together. So
a shared ideology.
Yes. So, you know, I got on well with most of them. You know, so they put Generation on first, Generation X, and then we come on after, then Prince Farai. That was a bill that sold out the whole of Music Machine. Then I went to a party afterward, but it was crazy. I went to a party with Generation X people. It was crazy. I had to leave because, you know, they were full of, I don't know where they get the energy from.
Yeah, man. A bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere until you change it.
I seen the body, yeah. I seen the body, yeah. Turning in my tenonga, bingy, turning in my tenongo, magica. What that fight?
Yeah, man.
So, A Trip to Bolgatanga is a killer new record, and it's evolved into this beautiful mess. I love it.
You know, the way I am, I like to do different things, you know. I like to do different things. It's like even in Jamaica, Sunday you eat rice and peas and thing. Then Monday is a different food, and Tuesday is a different food, and Wednesday is a different food, and Thursday and Friday we know that every Saturday we're going to be drinking soup. You know, so having those different tastes for me is good. That's the reason why I'm like that as a musician or as a drummer. I like doing things that's different and different, and you can't keep doing the same thing. I will get bored. You know what I mean? I like to, the word they call it evolve. Yes, okay, evolve. So that's what it is. We trip to Bolgatanga now. You know, I was always studying African drumming from the days of Fela Kuti.
Yeah.
Moving with the Funkies, with Sonny Akpan and all those people. From there, I used to start to listen to Sibisa. I listened to Bongo Santa Maria. I listened to all different kind of percussionists, you know, because I want to learn, I want to study them and whatever, you know. So when I went to Africa, I found I fit in well with the drummers them. The God drummer. I've got a God drummer in my band right now. He's a wicked drummer, terrible, very good drummer. You know, one knew his name is, right? I met him when I was in Ghana, and when he come to London, we said, okay, I want us to come and work with me, and he's working with me now. But when I went there, and I see all these drumming groups, I used to go on, and whatever they show me to play, I'll play it. You know, because when I go somewhere, I don't go there and say, I'm a drummer, I want to take over this thing and show them what I have and where. No, I used to go there and I'm cool, and I just listen and let them show me what they want from me.
Yeah.
And by them showing me what they want from me, I learn something again. You know, they show me some rhythm, and once I play it, it stays in you forever. So that was a good thing about learning about drumming. You know, if somebody teaches something, it can stay with you forever. You can work with it and do what you want with it. You can, you know what I mean? You can even use it on some other projects and all this kind of thing. You can fit in somewhere else. So that's how I was able to learn some different style of drumming and thing. And then this one, we actually rehearsed different parts of drumming, different parts of chanting, and different parts. It's not like before I just go in the studio and start doing things and whatever happen, and then some, you know what I mean? This one, we actually, because I had time, I was in Africa, the COVID happened, and I wanted to do something, you know? So I had time to go through a lot of things. And then I learned some of the chanting too. Some of the chanting is traditional chanting. You know, chant that they've been chanting for hundreds of years. You know, the song called Heba. Heba. Heba is a fisherman song. When the fishermen then go to spread their net out, miles out in the sea, and then they pull in the net in with all the fish. You know, they'll be singing Heba. Heba. Auba, auba. Heba. That means bring it come.
Oh,
that's what the Heba means. Bring it come. Heba. Ba means come back, you know. Like if somebody said to you, back, it means come. Ako, go, you know. And plus I'm learning a little bit of the language as well. So I spend time to get to understand some of those traditional songs where we're taking around the world.
Can I relay to you some questions from fans that have been passed on?
Okay.
All right. Elizabeth wants to know, in your opinion, what is the future of Afrofuturism?
Afrofuturism. I don't know. The only thing I can say straight up my head, that the Afro music is like it is party. You know, even if when was it? Yesterday or the day before, I went into a place where some Nigerian people have a restaurant. And by just sitting and listening to the Afro music, it is so great, it's so rich. And a lot of it is simple too. I don't even understand the language that they're singing, some of it, right? But just the rhythms, you know, it is like medicine. Maybe I'm over saying things I want. But the way I feel yesterday when I went into this African restaurant and they were playing even fella music. Because fella is the one that really is the head of this thing. Just like Bob Marley is the man that top the reggae music, you know. And they're playing fella. It's like it is something else. You know, when you listen to some music and it is making you feel good then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's making you feel good.
Absolutely.
That's it. So to me, that's what the African music is like. African music is to make people feel good. Because a lot of these places in Africa, people go through so many trials and tribulation and stress and all this kind of thing. The music that they make, that's what keeps them alive. So the future of that music is for the world, and it's there to lift people up. You know what I mean? I'm talking about from the time of slavery till now, right? And the effect that it have on these people. Because even though they said slavery is abolished, right? The other generation and the generation and the generation that comes after that still have some effect of it, you know? So African, that music is like having medicine. It's like cure. It's like that music is cure anyway. Music can cure people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully support that idea. Sean wants to know, well, he says specifically, what's the best way to learn to play the djembe? But maybe just percussion in general, what's a good entry point for people who are feeling it but haven't approached it?
Well, for me, the first thing, don't talk. Don't talk. When you go and see somebody who's playing the djembe, don't talk. Apart from saying hello, after that, just listen.
Yeah.
That's all. Just listen. Listen. That's all. And I think because, especially in my younger days, when I was because I left school early, by 11 I didn't go back to school, I didn't really talk much, you know? And I think that really helped me. Because you have a lot of people that be talking. And by too much talking, they miss something. You know what I mean? They miss a lot of things. And that's what I used to do. I listen. And if somebody show me and I hear something, then I try to play that back. And when I play it back, I keep doing it. If I have to do it for half an hour, I will do it for half an hour. And I'm not going to speed up or slow it down. I'm going to maintain that pulse that the person showed me. And then once you do that for half an hour or more, then that beat or rhythm will never leave you. Just stay on it for half an hour or more. The same beat, whether it's boom, 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 or boom, 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 boom. You play that for half an hour. That's it. You don't speed it up. You don't slow it down. You don't even increase the volume neither. You stay there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the secret of learning the drums, not just the djembe, but the Nyabinghi drums as well, and the pocket drumming as well. I've seen it done in the pocket churches. Person will play one beat and he played for more than an hour. Same beat. He doesn't get fed up or tired of it or whatever. So that means it's like it will be drilled inside you.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of your body. So that's why I learned so much quickly about drumming, because I learned from a very early age, don't talk, just listen. And listen what the person tell you. Just clear your mind of everything. Whatever it tells you, just do that. You know? So that's all I want to say to somebody who wants to learn the djembe. Listen. And sometimes when somebody don't want to listen, I always say to them, the reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, that means you have to listen twice as much as you talk.
Hey, I like that.
So and that's the reason. Some people, it's like they seem to get 2 mouths and 1 ears, you know? So
yeah.
Just use it the proper way. Then you will learn a lot.
Yeah. Find that rhythm and live in it.
Yes, man. Live in it. Yeah, man. Find the rhythm and live in it, man. Okay? You will never lose it, you know? In Jamaica, right? My mom used to send me to church every Sunday to sing Jesus Love the Little Children. over my voice, you'll hear that. That's it. So they wanted me to sing in the church, but I didn't feel it and so forth. And so when I had to run away from home, because they thought I was bad because I like going to the Poco Church, which is a church that is banned in Jamaica. When I say banned, it was a church that looked down upon. Even the local black people looked down on that church because that church is straight from Africa. They worship the way they worship in Africa. You know, they chant and they play drums and they get in spirit and they throw water all over the place and they can heal people and it's a spiritual church. You know, and I used to love that church because in Clarendon, where I'm from, right, there was a church there, we call it Mother Ebert, which is Toots' auntie. You ever heard of Toots? The maid?
Toots Ebert. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Toots' auntie have a church about 2 minutes or 3 minutes walk, 3-4 minutes walk from my house. There was a pocket church there. The woman is called Mother Ebert, which is later I find out that was his, you know, and thing. And she was very powerful. And I used to keep going there. And sometimes when I come home, they would beat me because they say, you going to that? Because they think that church is bad people, Obia or voodoo or whatever. But me as a child, I never scared of anything because I don't even know what they're talking about. Obia place. I just go there because I like the drumming that I'm hearing, and I was interested in the drumming. So I used to go there until they start to. I go there so much that one of the drum master picked me up after the church when everything finished. I see him one-on-one, and he started to show me a few of the poco drumming too. You know, so I find that, and then after my mom and father went to London, it's like I'm 11 and I don't have anyone to look after me. You know what I mean? So the Poco Church and the Nyabingi Church, they like me because they see I'm interested in what they're doing, and I didn't have any parents there because although I have parents, but they're more interested in their own children or in their own thing. I was like, you know, so I used to go and sleep. I went and sleep in the graveyard once, a couple of times for about 2-3 weeks. I slept in a graveyard.
Oh, wow.
You know, yes, because I was more scared of going to the Catholic church. You know, as a child, when you look up and see these as a child, when you go in and you see all these big statues, right? And you look, it can freak you out. No, it wouldn't freak me out. Or maybe it might.
And maybe might come across as a little morbid too. I guess either way, which morbid are you going for? The Catholic Church or the graveyard? And you went for the graveyard. I tell you, straight to God, right? Yeah, I didn't have any place to sleep. I remember first I was sleeping under people's house. You know, they build the house and it lift up, and then you can go under there and sleep. First I went and sleep under there, you know. Oh, wow. A friend of mine said, no, come and sleep under my house because he's sorry for me. Because a lot of animals, that's where the animals go to sleep at night as well. I'll be sleeping here and goat is next door neighbor and what is it there? You know, and I'm sleeping there as a small child. So and so I went and sleep under my friend's house. And in the night, his father came and started to beat me. And wow, could you imagine me waking up with some whip across you? So I run out and jump over the fence. And the only place I could go in that night in Augustown was in the graveyard. So I went and sleep there. And I slept there for about nearly 3 weeks. Are any of your kids musically inclined? Did you pass that down?
Very much. Especially those that I have in Ghana. You know, yes, I have 5 children in Ghana, and I have 2 grandsons as well. Wow. My daughter is very good at poetry, very, very excellent, you know, at poetry. Motivative speaking, that's what she is. You know? But she's in the church, you know, she's in the church. That's her way, so that's it. And my sons, 2 of my sons, Ziggy, and the next one is Irie, they're very good at rapping. Very, very good. But at the moment, I'm telling them, just wait small, just hold still. I'm telling them that must keep writing the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I explain to them, don't write your song and start performing it out there. No, why are you doing that? You're not, you know, when you write a song, just keep it quiet somewhere. Just write and keep quiet. Like even now, I've got the place, if you could see it, I have some books here. I write. for my next album, I'm writing already, lyrics and everything like that. And I won't let nobody know about it. Because for me, writing is like being pregnant with an idea. And you have to keep it so long to let it out. You don't just, and even when you let it out, you have to keep it with only a few people see that child for a little while until after a while you have a party and invite everybody to come and see that child, which is they call it the christening or the blessing. So for me, songwriting is like that. You don't just write a song and then you go pick up a mic and start singing it in front of all these people. And sometimes, my children, sometimes they're a bit stubborn. I don't know. Sometimes as a father, you talk to some child and they think that, that you're old-fashioned or whatever, whatever, I don't know. But they're very good. They're very good. I'm praying that one day I'll go to Ghana and I'll build a studio. That's what I want to do as well. I want to build a studio in Ghana.
Oh, nice.
That's my ambition. I want to build a studio where I can help not only my sons and daughters, but other people too. And plus, the woman I'm with now, she likes feeding people, street people. I never know she was like that, Every Christmas, she go out and you have people on the street who don't have no food to eat and the family reject them. She just go out and whatever money she have. I remember one time I sent her some money for her to do something, and she used that money to feed the hungry people on the street, and I couldn't get angry with her, Yeah, I support her. I support her in doing that. That's another thing deeply inside of me too. You have some people they're hungry or starving or whatever, and even if it's for 1 or 2 days or whatever, you can cook some food and give them to eat and see them smile and then that's okay. Maybe later it can become bigger than that. So that's my real ambition I want to set up like a place in Ghana to help homeless people. Because I've seen them, and that's really deep in my heart, And I think that's what keeping me and my woman together too.
Yeah.
Her name is Angela Akonvoy. She sings on the album too, and she's a percussionist because she was trained to play percussion and dance and sing and that. If you see the album, you see her name and it's called Angela Akonvoy.
It's a real honor to meet you.
Yes. Good to meet you too. Bless up.
Bless up.
Who want to do that. Help people in Ghana.
Bonjo, it's been just tremendous talking with you, and you've got so many rich stories, and from the sound of it, you're going to keep creating more rich stories, doing what you do, and following the path that you're on. I thank you so much for all your lovely work in music and humanitarianism and being a shining family man. It's a real honor to meet you.
Yes. Good to meet you too. Bless up.
Bless up.
Bless up.
This has been the 83rd feature episode of Low Profile. I'm Markley Morrison, and my guest today has been Bonjo Iabingi Noah of African Head Charge. You can find links to more of their work on this episode's website at lowprofilepodcast.com, where you'll also find a treasure trove of oral history from exceptional musicians of all stripes. Low Profile is a part of the Ruinous Media Podcast Network, and this episode's artwork was drawn by Jack Habegger. Thanks so much to Howard Wolfing at Howlin' Wolf Media for facilitating today's interview. Please take a moment to visit patreon.com and become a supporter of this tremendously involved project. Patreon supporters have access to select outtakes and unedited interviews, as well as occasional updates from behind the scenes and opportunities to submit questions for me to ask upcoming guests. I even have some swag to send your way if you'd like to represent by wearing a button or slapping a sticker somewhere. Low Profile receives in-kind support from San Francisco Street Bakery, Rainy Day Records, Three Magnets Brewing Company, Old School Pizzeria, and Schwartz's Deli, all here in the exotic city of Olympia, Washington. I've got a special bonus episode coming to you in the next few weeks, and then next month's feature episode is an interview with Bob Log III. Until then, take care.